Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Harakah, Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And shalom to the whole full elect. This is Payal of the GMS London camp. And this is News and Prophecy, Prophecy and News. I have an article here from zerohedge.com. And the title reads, Restrictions on Unmax C explosion of fake vaccination cards in US and EU. All right. So this is what's happening right now, and this is part of a term known as or a saying that goes problem, reaction, solution. And this is a solution was provided for a previous problem, that of a quote unquote problem, should I say, of the pandemic of the sea. All right. So they provided the vaccine. All right. But in the provision of the vaccine, what's happened now is that restrictions have been put in place alongside it for people, not being able to maneuver in society unless they have it. All right. Or more so, should I say, that's where it's heading to. All right. Because right now only it kind of isn't there. All right, you still have the testing, you still have different means of being able to actually do certain things, but that's where it's headed. All right, it's heading in that direction. So it says so let's get into this article. So the point being is that as the restrictions get imposed more and more and certain liberties get removed from the people, those individuals that don't want to have the vaccine, they're going out of their way to basically, do their thing in another way. So it says, a week ago, we detailed the story of the American couple getting fined $50,000 by the government of Canada after they were caught providing border agents with fake C-19 proof of vaccination documents at the airport. We noted this seeming unusual occurrence was likely the tip of the iceberg in terms of the rise of the entire sophisticated counterfeit documents industry, geared toward getting around new restrictions quickly going into place, such as a recent New York City ban on the unvaccinated dining in restaurants and entering gyms and other public venues. This also, as so-called digital passports aren't yet uniform within the US or especially around the globe, and as globe protests are and pushback are on the rise, especially in Europe. All right, so basically, this is making leaps and bounds towards the direction of identification, digital identification, mind you, being provided for those that are vaccinated. Now, what you're seeing happening is different things that happen. Different, how can I say? The Internet of Things. All right, the Internet of Things is basically many different devices that operate within the internet that get utilized from a day-to-day basis. Say, for example, your mobile phone, you have Bluetooth like AirPods or Bluetooth headphones. Then you have your laptop, you have your smart TV, you have all these things. But then all these things can be engaged with from one point of access, being that ubiquitous technology, and ultimately what it's moving towards right now is the RFID chip, right, or the NFC. That's where everything is. That's the center point for all these things, all right. And we're seeing that through all these, and we know this by all these different elements of technology, all have that form of technology operating within it in some form, in some shape or form. All right. So it says, and most recently, the United States was mandated that all federal workers must be vaccinated, with the only alternative being a regimen of regular testing and mask wearing, which is basically a burden onto them. All right, and really is to chip away at their will. All right, because how many people are really gonna just get up and leave their job? All right, not many. All right, for their in-person staff, there will without doubt be many who refuse what is still at this point an experimental vaccine, given lack of formal FDA approval and regular rigorous process. Yeah, and this is the mad thing about it. You just had another guy that was trying to. You had a competitor, all right, to the Neuralink technology that's basically been FDA approved to provide that tech, all right. But then the vaccination, all right, which is, the biggest thing on planet Earth right now, has not been approved by FDA. So that should raise some eyebrows and some real questions, man. All right. So while also naturally desiring to avoid the extreme inconvenience of daily social distancing and generally being placed in a second class, non maxed social category, the Wall Street Journal has documented multiple instances of fake vaccination cards and their proliferation on the internet, based largely on the relatively easy to forge initial CDC vaccination cards. And this is by design, man, because everything's heading towards the vaccine, the MOTB, all right? And the US fake vaccination cards purportedly issued by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention have appeared to sell on sites such as Amazon, eBay, and Etsy, the reports detail. All right. So it says, in May, officers arrested a bar owner in California for allegedly selling fake vaccination cards costing $20 each. It continues, the alleged perpetrator was charged with identity theft, forging government documents, and falsifying medical records. So, as you can see, all these various things are happening around the world. All right. And I want to kind of get at a point right at the end, but let me see if I can pick out anything else. I mean, you could go through it, but the point being, this final point I'm going to read. It says, without doubt, the fakes will continue to be proliferated and will show up increasingly in the United States as more locales, and possibly even entire states enact a two-tiered system of sorts of segregating the status of the maxed and the unmaxed between each new day of this, and it seems we are living in a Black Mirror episode. And if anything, we're living in a Black Mirror, the totality of its of the series, basically. All right, every season they have an offer, we're living in that. Because really, with these TV shows, what they are is they're in some cases they're an extreme. All right, an extreme that. In that extreme, there's a metaphor to it, which basically is giving you what's going on right now. Right? But a lot of people, it goes over their head, right? Because they don't understand the Esau deals with thing known as plausible deniability. All right. So, I mean, Revelations 13. So it says Isaiah 31:1. It says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because there are many. Alright, Egypt in this case is talking about the modern day Egypt, spoke of in the book of Revelations, the 11th chapter, Sodom and Egypt, which is talking about America. Alright, being Babylon the Great, virgin daughter of Babylon. Alright, and many people are going to trust in there. Alright. And they're going to trust in the beast system. Hence why they're going to take the MOTB. Alright? Because they are many and in horsemen, because they are very strong. Alright? And they have great might, military might. as it tells you in the prophecy of Daniel's, that they, they had eyes like that of a man. All right, so it says, because but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord Yahweh. Yeah, the Lord is to be feared, the Heavenly Father. He's a terrible demon-like power. All right, you gotta always hold that in your mind. That anything in the hands of Satan is incomparable. It pales greatly to what the Heavenly Father and your Son can do to you, man. Because that's what Satan has done. He's made it as to where the world thinks that the Heavenly Father and His Son is all, soft and, passive and, oh, don't worry about anything. But in reality, that mercy has a measure, all right? And the measure, basically maxes out in denying the Heavenly Father and His Son, all right? You do that, man, it's a wrap, okay? And that's what this man is basically making you believe, that he ain't gonna, you can't, you can do that, and there's gonna be no repercussions. But the repercussions that Esau's providing on the surface level is light work, all right? The day of evil, the wicked, as it tells you in Proverbs 16, were created for the day of evil. Who made them? The Heavenly Father, all right? As it tells you in the book of Sirach 39, there'll be spirits that be created for vengeance. Esau's the sword of the Heavenly Father on the left-hand side, all right? And the left-hand side is nowhere as powerful as the right-hand side, all right? And guess what? If you falter and succumb and buy into the left-hand side, what you're going to find out is afterwards, when they're about to feel their belly, the right hand is gonna show itself in great might, all right? And you're going to really fall. It's going to be the power that the Heavenly Father, man. That's why, as Paul wrote, it says, knowing the terrors of the Most High, we persuade men. And that's the reason why we do this work. So it says, yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity. Now the Egyptians are men and not power, and not the Most High, and their horse is flesh and not spirit. When the Lord Yahweh shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they all shall fail together. So with that, man, I pray you edified. In the next one, say shalom, shalom, shalom.